Alright, so we'll move on to Cenarius. Cenarius, if you've been following the story in Val'Sharah, has been corrupted. Malfurion goes after him because, you know, he's this big druid daddy. And there's a lot of interesting mechanics on that one, some that have been repeated in the past, and some new ones as well. Think of Cenarius as a little bit of Ragnaros and, I don't know, some other priority encounters. So with Cenarius, it's a multiple stage encounter. Stage 2 happens at 30 or 35%. It actually happened at 35% when we were doing this encounter, even though it says 30%, or it was the other way around, I can't remember. But stage 1 is really the complicated one. Basically, throughout the encounter, you'll get a debuff called Creeping Nightmares. And Creeping Nightmares stacks higher and higher and higher and higher until you're cleansed. And the only way to get cleansed, really, is jump on the cleansed ground. So it's a big green puddle nearby, and you jump on it, get away from it, it gets rid of all your stacks. The stacks get stronger the more stacks you have, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So there's certain times where you want to get rid of your stacks. Because, and Sparty, why can't I just stand in the green stuff and never get it? For every time you stand in the green stuff, it gets smaller, the green pools by Malfurion. So you have to be careful of those. The other abilities are Nightmare Brambles. Brambles are basically roots that follow you underground. If you guys remember, Anubarak, he had similar kind of underground spikes abilities that followed you around. These ones will root you. Their roots are cleansable, so cool really tip here for the Paladins is if you have a Hand of Freedom, or Blessing of Freedom, cast it on yourself, run over their roots, and you'll break all the roots that are on the ground. If somebody runs over them, they're going to be rooted. So it does fixate somebody. The other ability is the Aura of Dreadthorns. So you have Cenarius, and any other adds near him will gain this Dreadthorns ability within 20 yards. And higher difficulties, it's even further out. So you want a tank. One tank has the Cenarius, and the other tank has the other Forces of Nightmare. The Forces of Nightmare, we're going to go through this again. Basically, there are 4 things. There is the Corrupted Wisp, which basically is wisps like on the World Tree, right? But they're bad. They fixate people. If you guys remember the wisps on, not the wisps, the exploding stars on Archimonde, for those of you that did Mythic, same kind of thing. They fixate people, they explode, they're bad. They're really annoying to deal with. The Nightmare Ancient, he's pretty simple. He does a big stomp. Basically, if you stack in under the Ancient, everyone takes less damage, because it's split between everybody that's there, similar to a meteor. The Drake, or the Dragon, whatever, he does 2 things. He has a breath. He targets somebody in the raid. If he targets you, fine. He breathes on you, shift out of the way. Everybody else should not get hit by the breath. It's a really easy ability to dodge. If you're getting breathed on, you're not in the right spot. And the last thing he does is a Nightmare Buffet, or Buffet, whatever. When he gets to low life, he starts casting raid-wide damage every 2 seconds, and it's a lot of damage. So I think it's 50 or 30% or something like that. He does a lot more damage, and you want to make sure you don't transition him incorrectly here. And then Twisted Sisters are the last one. They throw Nightmare Javelins. These javelins, basically, if they explode a little in AoE settings, so you want to be spread out for these ones. They do a Touch of Life, which heals. You definitely want to interrupt this one, because if you don't interrupt this one, it'll be very, very bad. It's going to heal, anything nearby for 1,000,000 health every 2 seconds. Not a fun time. Make sure you prioritize interrupts on Twisted Sisters. And this one as well, inflicts however much damage on her targets to within 8 yards. Again, be spread out for Sisters. Now, what happens on this encounter is you're given a choice of which ones you want to cleanse. If you cleanse them, they become your allies, and they do something good for you. So if you want to get rid of the wisps, and you cleanse the wisps, they will do something for you. They will spawn around the edge of the room, and they will cleanse little patches of the ground, little green patches. If you cleanse the Ancient, he gives you a big replenishing thing, so it restores your mana. This is great for healers. If you cleanse the Drake, he spawns from the Emerald Dream. He grants the targets with an Ancient Dream, increasing healing received by 50%. So it saves tanks, and it's really nice for the healers. And the Sisters, with their touch, give you immunity to shadow damage and movement impairing effects. Again, not too important for some of these buffs, but depending on which one you cleanse, you make the other ones, the rest of the encounter, easier. So for the first encounter, we're going to go through, one second, let me pull this off here. We'll go through Cenarius in my little example. Cenarius is at 142. Oh, I'm still fighting. Oh, there we go. Cenarius is fighting. Is it 140? I think we wiped a couple times on this one on purpose to give people practice. I wonder if this is the right one. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so this will be our first pull of Cenarius here. Basically, the wisps, the ancient, the dragon, all that stuff spawn in certain sections of the room. You control as a raid which one will be cleansed and spawn on your side. The orange marker is where the wisps will spawn. So, we'll just watch this in a second here. Hopefully it's a pull timer coming soon. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we as a raid here are staying stacked on the orange marker. What happens is you're going to have Forces of Nightmare spawning in 2 seconds. That big 3 and that sort of that shadowy looking face on my screen is my debuff. So you get higher and higher and higher and higher. I want to cleanse it above 20 stacks, below 40, somewhere around there. So watch what happens. So here come the Forces of Nightmare. They're going to spawn. Forces of Nightmare spawning. There. Tormented Souls. On here, there is the, across the room, you can't really see this really well, there is the other one that spawns, and to our right is the next one. So there's 3 things that spawn. There's the Ancient, the Draco to our right. We cleanse the Wisps. So these wisps are on our side now. They're going to be spawning little green patches on the ground. And that green puddle is what I talked about earlier. That green puddle is what you use to cleanse yourselves with, or the little patches on the ground. Now, here's what I'm doing incorrectly. I should be stacking with the giant here. We're killing him first, because he does that big... There we go, I'm stacking now. He does a big stomp. Here comes a big stomp, and it's going to be split damage. There. And there's a breath on Karyudo. Karyudo probably wasn't the best spot, because the tank got breathed on there. And the Rotten Drake at 50%, he does a big AoE pulse. So it's really important that you guys do not push the Drake and the giant together at the same time, because if you're dealing with a stomp and the Drake's AoE explosion, it's a lot of potential raid-wide damage. So you have to be very careful with that one. So we kill the giant first. Don't cleave too hard onto the Drake to push him under 50%. Now you'll see on the right side there of that screen, little circles. Those are the brambles that I was talking about earlier. They will follow somebody. It says they're on jungle. We could never figure out how it was working. So you see a little thing following him around. And it spawns little circles of crap, and it follows somebody and it roots them. So just make sure they're... hopefully this will be fixed. Yeah, it's starting to root my players there. You can cleanse it off of people if they're rooted. Here, I cast Freedom on myself, and I just run over them so nobody else could has an issue with them. See, I just pop the brambles myself. I do take the damage, but I don't get rooted because I have Blessing of Freedom. So this is round 2 of the Forces of Nightmare. On this one, again, we're going to cleanse the wisps. Again, dealing with wisps is super annoying. That's part of the reason why we're cleansing them. So right over here. So we're going to stand close to it. Wherever the raid is mostly positioned, that is the section that will get cleansed. If you're all spread out, it'll randomly choose whichever one wants to get cleansed. Okay, so here we cleanse the wisps again, and now we're going to be dealing with the other 2 ads, which is the Drake, as well as the Twisted Sister. And now we're going to kill the Twisted Sister first. She's not going to take it, so she's going to keep throwing the stuff on us. Those circles, again, similar to Il'gynoth, is you want to be spread out because you're going to blow up on whoever's nearby there. It pops on people. And now there's a Drake. Kill the Drake, there's the breath, don't stand in the breath. And at 50% or sub 50%, he starts exploding on the entire raid. Okay, at this point we're just dealing with brambles. You're watching your stacks. I'm at 18 stacks right now. I'm running over these. Again, it takes quite a bit of damage. I'm at 20 stacks. I can probably go a little bit higher. Again, those little patches in the ground, the green ones, I cleanse mine around 24 there. And you start getting more and more stacks. So it is quite healing intensive. And for the third round, we're cleansing this side here. And this one, I believe, is the giant. So we're going to have actually 2 sisters spawning. Is it the giant or the Drake? I can't recall. So we're DPSing while there's nothing up, right? Again, it's a super easy encounter when you eliminate all the other mechanics. So Forces of Nightmare are spawning at this point. This is actually a really, really bad transition. Yeah, this is a really bad one. So we push the boss at 35%, even though Dungeon Journal says 30%. Malfurion gets rooted, and we're dealing with all the other adds at the same time. It was a really, really rough one here. I'm pretty sure we wiped on this. So you're dealing with 2 Twisted Sisters that are spawning lots of circles on the ground, and it's really, really messy. You can see how many circles on the ground. Like, it's a shit show right now. Lots of bad stuff going on because we just had a really, really bad transition. We actually had too much DPS going through that phase, or slightly not enough. And yeah, you would hero in the last part of this phase. I'll explain what's happening in a second here. But Malfurion also gets rooted. Basically, you want to have a clean transition, so there's no adds up, no sisters, and you cleanse Malfurion. So he's rooted in this root. You have to break him out so he can spawn more puddles for you and make it a lot easier. And at that point, you're basically dealing with brambles as well as the tank or the big tank abilities here. Now, there's actually a couple little tips to dealing with this big ability. I'll go through phase 2 in a second here. So phase 2 of this encounter, there, your nightmare ends. You're still dealing with creeping nightmares. That's the big stack that keeps getting higher and higher and higher. I swear to God. I'm going to bring 2 amazing receiver monks. Okay, just later. Later, not now. Just let me explain Cenarius. So, Creeping Nightmares is the debuff that keeps going higher and higher and higher. Spear of Nightmares is the big tank one. Now, basically what happens, this is a really, really important one, the most important ability for phase 2. The tank gets thrown a spear. It does 4 million damage on normal. That's a lot of damage. The more damage you take from the spear, he spawns a big red puddle. That puddle can get huge, like the size of the entire room if you take the entire 4 million damage. But if you take less damage through active mitigation or cooldowns, Hand of Sacrifices, Blessing of Sacrifices, or Blessing of Protections, or Divine Shields, you actually don't spawn a puddle. I wonder if I'm actually going to spawn one here, but you'll see. So you can mitigate how much room you have, and you're going to have to use that tactic on Heroic and Mythic as well. You're dealing with Nightmare Brambles as well, and Entangling Nightmares here. Like, that's really Malfurion and Entangling Roots. So Entangling Nightmares, how to get rid of that? Just kill it once. You don't deal with any other roots. Brambles, you guys know how to deal with. Just run away from them. Don't stand in brambles. And the other stuff is basically a tank mechanic. It's basically a burn there at that point. So, let's see if we actually spawn a puddle here. Because I know we actually wiped on purpose. Nightmare Brambles. Yeah, come on. Spawn a puddle. Okay, you see that puddle there? That big red circle? So because the tank got hit really hard, look how big it grows. Like, it's getting big, right? So if you deal with multiples of those over the entire fight in that last phase, the entire room gets taken over. So you have to be we actually wiped on purpose here. So you have to be very careful to not spawn these, or make them as small as possible and keep dragging the boss around the room. That's what you do want to do as a tank. As a healer, again, watch those cooldowns, all that other fun stuff. So we'll go through the scenarios one more time here. Yeah, more subs. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do one more pull here. Okay, so again, starting the pull right here. Forces of Nightmare spawn. We're causing the Wisp to spawn. Pretty sure hopefully we're close enough on this one. Or did we screw up on this one? I can't remember. Yeah, okay, so we got the Wisps on this one. So yeah, so again, the green puddle is what gets rid of your nightmare stacks. There's the Drake and the Ancient. The Ancient has a stomp, so to get rid of the stomp or to mitigate the stomp, you want to stack nice and close. There's a bramble happening at the same time. Right now, I should have been stacked on the Drake. There was no reason for me to be spread out like this. Like, no reason at all. Breath on Indy. Indy needs to move because it's a channeled ability. Ideally, when you guys are standing, don't stand on the side of your tanks. When the Drake exploding, when he's doing his pulsating thing, that's when you would use your tranks, your devotion auras, whatever you want to do. Brambles again. So I have 20 stacks of Creeping Nightmares. You see how the green thing gets smaller every time people run over it? So you can't just stand in it non-stop. So we're dealing with the same thing here. So we're dealing with Cenarius. There's Brambles again, so I'm going to cast Freedom on myself here, I think. What did I do? Yeah, there's Freedom, and I ran over all of them. You do take damage, but again, that is more room for the rest of my friends and teammates to move. Okay, there is the Tortured Souls, which are the Wisps. We're going to cleanse them again. And you can see here the weak aura for thorns, right? You're going to be very careful not to get yourself killed, because some of the players have gotten themselves killed during when the thorns is up. So now we'll deal with the sister and the drake. So we're going to kill the sister first, interrupt her, spread out for her big circles, don't blow up on the raid. You're going to blow her up and then cleave onto the drake. Once the drake's at 50%, he's going to do that big pulsating damage again. Here comes the breath on Roshi. Roshi moves, a little slow there, but moves. And now the dragon is going to start pulsating and exploding on the raid. So that is round 2 of the ads. Sometimes you may want to just keep certain DPS on the boss pretty much full time. Again, it depends on how well they are on switching. So here we're dealing with Brambles still. We're DPSing the boss because there's nothing else to attack, right? Again, the goal is to have Cenarius with no ads up because that is super easy. And again, just watch your stacks. Never Brambles of Cenarius, so he's casting them. And because we already know where these things are spawning, we're being proactive. We are running to the spot of the spawn point of the Forces of Nightmare to make them our little allies. So here's Forces of Nightmare round 3. Here we go, we're spawning this one. This is the Giant. And so you'll see a big, was it the Wisps? No. Was it the 4th one? I can't remember. Anyway, so we're going to kill the sisters here. They're typically marked up, so we know which one to kill first. I hope this was a good pull. I hope so anyway. What was the timer? Yeah, well, I don't know. We might have wiped on this one too. So we kill the sisters, interrupt them as well. Obviously focus one down, because if you kill them at the same time, there'll be more casts overall, and it's harder to interrupt. So you always focus down targets wherever possible. Right there, Cenarius. There's a Cleansed Ancient. Yeah, we cleanse the Ancient there. He gives us a big mana boost. We're back to full mana, essentially. We would be back to full mana if we had soaked in it properly. And now we're in phase 2. So this is a clear phase 2. We hero at this point. Right now, Towley has the boss. So we're spamming heals on Towley, on Brand, who's got Brambles on her. Where's the first spear? I don't think it has the spears marked right now. There's his first spear casting. Towley, I believe, bubbled himself at this point. Yeah, Towley bubbled himself for the very first one. No puddle spawns. Okay, next one, it'll be, I think, Psycho using Blessing Protection. And that's basically it. Like, it's a pretty simple encounter in that last phase. Did servers die? Oh, sorry guys, stream privileges. At 23 stacks, again, so watch your stacks until you eventually, kill Cenarius there. Anyway, good. Did we wipe here on this one? I can't remember. Let's find out here in a second. 2%. No, I think we killed it on this one. Yeah, we must have. Oh, maybe we didn't. I guess we didn't kill on this one. Yeah, we did one more attempt. And the final attempt was one we actually killed him. And I think on the final attempt, let me see here. Yeah, Drake. Yeah, same kind of stuff here. So it's a pretty straightforward encounter. Again, positioning is important. Prioritizing your ads. I've got a couple of really cool diagrams for you guys that I want to show you on Cenarius. Where is he, Cenarius? Cenarius. And the order to kill things in. There you go. So here is image number 1. So this is really easy if you know where to cleanse them. So if the boss is at the blue marker, you cleanse, basically the first cleanse, second cleanse, third cleanse, that kind of stuff. Where is it? There. I'm going to zoom out here for you guys. If this is where the boss is positioned, these are the different markers, where they spawn, that kind of stuff. So the first cleanse is at orange. The second cleanse is at star. The third cleanse is at moon. For the first set, it's the Ancient and the first Drake. So moon and purple spawn. For the second set, it is the Dryad at yellow and the Drake at purple. For the third set, which we're cleansing at moon, you're going to spawn a Dryad at yellow and a Dryad at skull. That's where the ads are spawned. It is fixed positions. It makes it super, super easy. Here's the picture for you guys in case you guys want to know. And then the next one is, this is another really cool picture that Brand made. What a great raid lead. Again, the kill order. Right, first set of ads, second set of ads, third set of ads. This might be something you guys want to know. So here is the kill order. It makes it really easy for you guys. And then we have, what other picture do we have here? How to rotate the boss in that last phase. is like this. Essentially, you know, how you're pulling him around. Our Photoshop skills are amazing. So there you go. Those are the different diagrams and everything else for the boss. I've been from BattleNet. Okay, we're going to stay online for now, wherever possible. Okay, any questions about Cenarius? Okay, you can't remove it with bubble ice block. You can. So the nightmares. I don't believe the debuff itself, creeping nightmares. I don't believe you can remove that one with bubble ice block. I can't recall. I'm not 100% sure. But the intended thing is to remove it with the cleansed ground. That was to Meth WoW. How do you cleanse the enemies? So again, wherever the majority of your ranged or healers are stacked, that is the one you cleanse. So again, here, if I stack by the orange marker, we're going to cleanse the one that spawns there, because they all spawn in different spots, right? So we're going to cleanse the first one at orange. That's where their ranged is stacked, based off, you know, the videos as well. Like when we... Let's go back here. So the orange marker. See where we're standing by the orange marker? Right, blue marker's over there. Same picture as this one here. We're by the orange marker. We're going to cleanse this one first. We are controlling how the fight goes. That answers your question. The little green puddles are from wisps. Yes, the little green puddles of crap are from wisps. And what else? Hey, Brandon. How many of the pool debuffs did your tanks get to? We got none, actually. We did it really well, so no puddles actually spawned for us. It was really nice. Because we had bubbles and blessing protection, which made the tanks take no damage. So when this spear comes out, the Spear of Nightmares, if I cast blessing protection on my tank, they take no damage. Because they took no damage, the puddle doesn't spawn. It's awesome. That might get fixed in the future. We'll see. We'll see how Blizzard wants to do on that one. In Heimel, you guys had a Google Doc sheet for your tactics. Have you made this for Emerald Nightmare? We have them. I can't share them yet. We'll see what my other officers say. But I have pictures that I've shared with you guys, right? Like all this kind of stuff. This is all shareable. All those different diagrams that I've shown with you guys so far. Do you get an extra action button for the cleansers automatic? There is no actual like thing to do to cleanse. You just have to stand in the right spot. So here's an example, guys. So let's put down some markers for you guys here. There's an orange marker. There's a blue marker. Let's see where the boss is. There's a yellow marker, right? Wherever, right? And then there is one that spawns over here by red. So initially, maybe I should use the right markers here. There. I'll show you guys the pictures. So there. And moon will be that far one. Actually, first ancient. Okay. So moon is over here, and Drake is back here. Okay. All right. So on this difficulty, the first thing that happens, the Forces of Nightmare spawn. For the first one, let's get rid of this one just for no confusion. So the boss is being tanked on blue. You have Forces of Nightmare spawning at orange, purple, and moon. You choose which one you want to cleanse by consolidating your players on that marker. If I don't want to deal with wisps, I will stand right here. If I don't want to deal with the dragon, I will stand right here. If I don't want to deal with the giant, I will stand right here. So that is how you will deal with those cleanses. Again, like if you want to deal with the wisps and not with the drake, okay, then stand over here. Wherever you're standing, that's the patch that Malfurion will cleanse. Yeah, I'm covering normal and heroics, not so much mythic. Yeah, don't ask me class questions now, just more encounter questions. I can ask some class questions later on. Anything else for Cenarius? Do you guys have questions about? Or is that it? We'll move on to Xavius and finish it off. They're not going to answer everyone else's questions and class questions, all that other stuff.